Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Williamson County Coaches Preview Show. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and with me for tonight's game is the head football coach at Ravenwood High School, Coach Will Hester. Coach, welcome.
Thanks for having us on, Jack.
Well, big game tonight. Season kicks off. It's football time in Tennessee, man. It's the best time of the year. I'm excited about it, and I know you are. New head coach over at Ravenwood. Kind of give us a update on how your preseason camp has gone for you.
We went to Tennessee Tech for the first 3 days of padded practice this year to kind of get away, come together as a team. We left the cell phones at home, so no contact.
How'd you get that accomplished?
No contact with mom and the girlfriends. We just told them, and they were good about it. So, we were able to live and sleep in the same environment. They shared those experiences, and I think those shared experiences help us come together as a team.
Mm-hmm. So after the Tech camp, what other kind of scrimmages?
Then we scrimmaged Lincoln County the day after we got back, which is the first day we get scrimmage, August the 1st there. Went to the pit at Lincoln County, so it's an experience for those kids to go down there to a history-rich place in Middle Tennessee football. So we scrimmaged Lincoln County. We also scrimmaged Antioch, Wilson Central, and then we finished up last week with Beach.
Okay, all right. Well, Beach, when you brought those boys in, you got everybody else checking out the tailback there. And I think he's also the herd kids playing.
They got him playing safety now as well.
Playing some safety position, but I know he's one of those 4 or 5 star type kids. And how'd y'all do against them?
Our kids competed well. We kept him corralled for the most part. He probably had 15 or 16 carries, and the longest one was maybe a 10-yarder. So it wasn't anything. I was just proud of the way our kids ran to the football. That's the key with a back like that, is to get as many people to him as you can. And we were able to keep him from breaking the long one.
Well, Coach, I know we've talked about this once other time, but would you go ahead and just kind of go back over your coaching staff and who those guys are and what maybe they teach at the school and
Absolutely.
what they do for you on the field?
Daniel Keel's our defensive coordinator. He teaches biology there at Ravenwood High School. Paul Derrick coaches our safeties. He's teaching wellness. Joe Cardinal teaches at Woodland Middle School in the social studies department. He coaches corners for us. Our inside linebackers coach is Coach Keel, but he is helped by Jason Pope. Our outside linebacker, I said that backwards. Our inside linebacker coach is Zach Farkas, who is teaching chemistry at Ravenwood, and Daniel's coaching the outside backers. And our defensive line coach is Andy Elrod, who teaches some AP history at Ravenwood. On offense, I'm the offensive coordinator. Dan Questenberry is coaching quarterbacks for us. He teaches PE at Evanston Elementary. Clint Finch is our offensive line coach. He's teaching AP history at Ravenwood High School. Our receivers coach is Alex Tracus. He's in the special ed department at Ravenwood. And our running backs coach is Bryant Gunner. He's also in the history department at Ravenwood.
Now, you brought Clint with you from
Clint and Dan both were former Brentwood coaches who came over with me, yes, sir.
Okay. And I think Zach may have been at
Zach was at Page. It would help Richard Herzog at Page, and he's been there for a year now. This will be his second year.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that there's just more than your assistant coaches that's involved with your football program. Let's kind of get into the other staff, your managers and trainers that make up the whole program there at Ravenwood.
Absolutely. We got a great trainer provided by the Bone and Joint, Seth Woodard, who does a good job for us. And then, probably the most important guy in our program is Austin Pert, who makes sure we're ready for practice every day. He's got a great attention to detail, and he sets everything up for practice. And without him, Ravenwood football would be nothing.
Well, I know Austin from the Woodland Middle School days when he was down there helping Coach Lynn with their football program. He's a very knowledgeable young man when it comes about football in Williamson County.
Absolutely. We try to stump him all the time on Williamson County football trivia, and he hadn't missed one yet. He's definitely the man when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other water girls or anybody else that's helping with the program?
We've got a whole plethora of water girls. If I started naming all their names, I would probably miss a few, and I don't want to be upsetting anybody.
Sure.
But we've got a great group that all work with Seth Woodard, and he makes sure that they are doing what they need to do.
Who you got helping with the stats for you, Coach?
The baseball coach at Ravenwood, Teddy Craig, is going to do stats for us.
Okay.
He's done it the past few years. He's very organized and does a wonderful job. He usually has it done right after the game's over. So he takes control of sending that out to the newspapers like the Tennessean and those people and getting that information out so that they've got it for Saturday morning's issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, as far as into the main grind, the season started. Monday through Friday type format for you now. About how much time will the players actually be doing football, whether it's on the field or in the weight room or watching film? About how much time, kind of break that down for us about how much time the kids spend.
We're different than some of the people. We actually give them Saturday and Sunday. We don't bring them in on the weekends unless we're playing on a short week. We do play one Thursday night game this year against Dixon, so we will use Sunday like a Monday that week. But generally, we're out of school every day at 2:25, if you will. We'll do a film or lift. We've got it broken into groups, a film or lift before practice on Monday and Tuesday. And that generally lasts about 30, 35 minutes. So while one group's lifting, the other one's filming. And then we get out on the practice field, and we're usually off the practice field by 5:15, 5:30. And then we flip what we did previously before practice. The group that watched film before will lift after, and vice versa. We try to get them out of there by 6 on Monday and Tuesday. So you're looking at, 3.5, 4 hours on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, there's no lift, so we're on the field at 2:45, and we're usually off by 4:45. So there's another 2 hours, so you're looking at 8 hours at that point. And then, Thursdays are generally a shorter day for us, and we're out of there in an hour and a half, 2 hours max there. So you're looking at, 8 or 9 hours, I guess, total on football-related stuff, not counting the game.
Now, like on tonight's game, will you keep the kids after school and feed them, or you let them
We
go
will on
home?
the road games.
Okay.
On home games, we're going to turn them loose and bring them back in around 4:30, 4:45, and we have an itinerary, whether it be special teams meetings, offensive meetings, defensive meetings, to kind of get prepared for the game, and then we'll give them time to get taped if they've got to do that sort of stuff, and then we'll be out on the field, flexing now with all our games starting at 7 o'clock, in the 5:45 time frame.
Well, I'm just kind of counting through my head as you were going down through your list. It sounds like around 14 hours counting Friday night's game. I know at the college level, they've got like a 20-hour limit on the kids when school begins, which at most universities it's beginning this week and whatever. So high school would kind of stay underneath that for the most part. You think that's pretty consistent in other places you've been?
Yeah, I think so. There are definitely some people that like to practice just to practice. We feel like if we practice with tempo and we script out the reps we want to get and we get them quickly, that we can get on the field and get off the field and accomplish what we need to get accomplished. I'm not a big believer in them just standing around out there for 3 or 4 hours. I don't think they're going to learn anything by osmosis or anything like that. They're going to learn by working, and with the half the kids on our team taking AP courses and things of that nature, we need to get them home so they can get their homework done, get their studies done, so we can keep up what we do around here academically.
Well, Coach, you mind kind of going over maybe who we might see tonight as the starting lineup on the offensive side?
Absolutely. Avery Jankowski, number 7, will be the starting quarterback for us tonight. He finished the year starting some games for them last year and had some success. We worked four guys throughout camp, and he won the job for this Friday's night. Game will always kind of be a work in progress there, but it's his to start tonight.
Right.
So Van Jefferson, the wide receiver number 2, that moved in from Detroit. His father's Sean Jefferson, the Titans receivers coach, will be at receiver for us. We think we have 3 or 4 really talented running backs. Seth Rowland, Chris Rowland, Taylor Warren, and Dan Holmes will all see time at running back tonight. And then defensively, we're going to play a lot of kids on defense. We feel like we got 20 kids that can play on defense for us. We're going to play 6 or 8 on the D-line. We're going to play 4 or 6 at outside linebacker, 4 at inside linebacker, and probably 9 or 10 guys in the secondary. So we're going to roll a bunch of guys in there, and it'll be defense by committee tonight.
No, back on the offensive side, are you mainly a one-back set then?
Or we will be in a lot of what we call 20 personnel, meaning 3 wides, 2 running backs. We'll be in that quite a bit. Our H-back or fullback, whatever you want to call them, is kind of our back receiver hybrid. We'll be able, when we go 4 wide, we won't change personnel groups. We'll just
move
put him in
out.
the slot or put him in trips, however. So we try to be multiple with the same personnel on the field.
In shotgun formation?
Yes, sir.
And so your quarterback is a type of kid in which, I know I got a play drawn up that's got the zone read. Is that a play that's in your playbook?
We do have the zone read in our playbook. We're a little more of a power football team, though. If you want to look at comparables to offenses, people will know it's very similar to the kind of Gus Malzahn type offense where we're going to block down and kick out. We're going to pull the backside guard. We're going to run a lot of off-tackle power. We'll run what a lot of people call the truck series, which is basically the buck sweep out of the gun, pulling two. So we're going to try to be physical at the point of attack and kind of bringing the ball downhill.
Mm-hmm. On the defensive side, and I asked this question in our big coaches show we had back earlier this summer. You consider Ravenwood a kind of a read type defense and react, or are we going to see more of an aggressive type disrupt style?
We're probably more a read and react. I'm of the philosophy: live to play another down, keep the ball in front of us. Ron Crawford is definitely my mentor when it comes to defensive football, and I think coaching technique, coaching the fundamentals, and playing good, sound team gap control defense is the way to go, and that's what we'll be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know we're in a new age of technology and all that, but how do you go about communicating to the kids, Coach, on an outside basis? I mean, do you do Twitter blast or an email blast to contact the kids? Or?
Our Red Zone Club, which is our quarterback club, runs a email list where if I need something sent out, I send it to our Red Zone secretary, Molly Lyons, and she shoots that out to everyone in her distribution list. We do keep up a Twitter feed that we put motivational things as well as any changes in the practice schedule or whatever on there. And then Huddle now, the Huddle program that we use for film, actually has a message/text feature where we can load the kids into Huddle. And if I type a message into Huddle and hit send, it'll send it to their email as well as their phone to allow us to send out information.
That's definitely technology's moved up a lot since I've been out there on the field coaching. Now, we talked about the time that the players spend. Kind of go over, I guess, a week for the coaches.
All right. On Saturday, after our game tonight, tomorrow on Saturday, it'll be the coach's responsibility to grade tonight's film for their position group. And now that Huddle it made everything so much easier for coaches, we'll have already traded film, and we'll have the scout film already on their laptop or home computer that they can start breaking down. So the offensive coaches each have a responsibility that they're supposed to break down, as well as the defensive guys. We'll come together Sunday around 2 o'clock and have about an hour worth of the whole staff together meeting, and then we'll break off into offensive groups and defensive groups. And, those pieces that they did on Saturday we'll present as a whole on Sunday, come up with a game plan, finalize practice schedules, things of that nature, discuss any JV games we may be having, because we do have one at Summit on Monday, JV freshman doubleheader. And then, we try to limit ours. I feel like no good is accomplished after 3 hours, so we're there at 2. If we're not done before 5, we're done at 5, whether we're done or not done, so that we can get back home and get with our families. Some of those coaches that are teaching all those AP classes I mentioned can plan for the week for class. Mm-hmm. And then Monday starts the regular week for us. We'll keep those same hours as the kids for the most part. On Monday night and Tuesday night, we do stay about 45 minutes after that last lift is concluded, just to finalize the practice for the next day, make sure the game plan doesn't need to be tweaked or anything.
Right.
Tuesday night, we like to finalize what we're going to do on third down offensively to make sure that we got what we like there. And then Wednesday, we're pretty much out of there after the last kid leaves. Same on Thursday. I want them to get home. Now that we've moved freshmen to Monday night, I think Thursday night's a big time for the staff to be with their families, and we'll have 1 or 2 staff dinners where we'll get all the kids and wives together on Thursday night just to kind of spend some time together in a loose situation, and then it'll all start on Friday night and then back to Saturday again. Never-ending circle.
Never-ending circle is right, and hopefully it'll continue on into the playoffs this year.
Hopefully well into the playoffs.
As you go into that. Now, you talked about grading the film. As far as what are you requiring your coaches to do as far as when you talk about a grade? They're going to get a or a B or a 90 or a,
we do percentage grades, but we have 2 categories. We have an assignment category that every play will get a plus or a minus, and they have an effort category. Every play they'll get a plus or a minus. So when it comes down to the end, if they've been in 15 snaps, and they have 13 pluses, it'll be 13 out of 15, and that'll give them their percentage grade.
Okay.
We do the same thing for effort, and we're going to track what we call loafs, and we do a little team drill at the end of Mondays just to remind us that we don't want to take plays off and do that sort of thing. So we'll tally up the loafs for the whole team, and we'll revisit those Monday afternoon.
And it's kind of a reminder about not to loaf, I guess, as we move forward into next week's game, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Let's not repeat that.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully those will not be very many.
Yeah, that's the plan, that they decrease as the year goes along.
Yeah.
Either that or we're making the same mistakes over and over.
Yeah, they can't do that. Wins become harder to get there. Well, let's talk about tonight's opponent, Stewart's Creek. new football program, new school. What do you know about them, Coach?
I know that David Martin's a really good football coach. I know that he has basically mastered the running of the wing tee offense, which is no fun to defend at any level with any group of kids. Jeff Mitchell is his defensive coordinator, who's always been a 4-2-5 guy. My ties to Rutherford County go way back with him. I've known him for many years, and he's been Rutherford County the whole time. So we kind of know what we're getting with these guys. They've got a mixture of Smyrna, Laverne, and Blackman kids. That's kind of where they drew from. So what we've seen on film is they're very athletic. Their linemen probably lack in depth-wise, but the first group on both sides of the ball are very athletic and big kids. I just don't know how many of those they have. They've got like 130 or 40 kids in their program right now. They do it a little different over there. The juniors and seniors that want to go, that are zoned there, can go. So they have all 4 classes, but it'll be limited numbers in the junior and senior class.
Mm-hmm.
But I expect them to be a very difficult challenge tonight.
Now, you talked about film you've seen on them. Is this something prearranged with you and Coach Martin?
Absolutely.
You're going to exchange two films?
We basically went through what our scrimmage schedule was, and I picked the 2 I wanted, he picked the 2 he wanted, and we traded them with each other.
Okay.
It really not very fancy, but it's kind of a gentleman's agreement that we do in football. It's a little different than the other sports. I think the basketball coaches try to be shady about their stuff, but we kind of trade it and get it out there so that both teams can put the best product on the field that they can.
Right. Well, tonight's game being an opening game, I know Ravenwood, their crowd's always very, very vocal and do a great job of showing up for the games. And with Stewart's Creek being a first-year school, I'm expecting a big crowd from Stewart's Creek to come over there for their first
I think it's going to be really exciting. I believe they're red and black, too. I mean, it'll be red and black all over the place in Brentwood tonight. So, we've got 2 teams that both are excited for the season, one for their first game, one to see if they've made some change in the culture. And it'll be interesting to see tonight who comes out victorious and who plays well.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about, let's back up to last week. You had something going on over there at Ravenwood. It's called a Raptor Rally?
The Raptor Rally, yes.
Okay.
That's Dr. Vaden's baby. It was her idea to kind of honor the state champions, honor the fall sports team, discuss, kind of all our academic achievements from last year and the awards that the school won with that, and kind of tie it around the beach scrimmage. So, there's a lot of people out there. The beach bus broke down, was a little late, so it kind of put a kink in the plans there and pushed us back a little bit. But I think it came off very well. It was a crowd of a regular season game, and there was a lot of people out there to watch Jalen Hurd as well. It was mentioned on 104.5 The Zone that he was going to be out there, and all the wild Tennessee fans like yourself showed up to check him out.
Well, you stunned me on that one there, Coach. But one of the things that, and this is from like Coach Flatt and I, back the old timers, we used to talk about just how many players you needed to have in order to be successful. And he talked about, used to talk about as we moved up in classifications into the bigger schools, you needed definitely to have a few more. Is there a count on, as a staff, you look at, well, we're going to have, we used to say 17. We got to have 17 guys, that we can count on. Have you ever kind of put a number on what the number of kids that we got to have to be able to compete at the 6A level football?
We actually have done that as a staff, and 25 was the number that we came up with. We think that if you have 25 players, and everybody's definition of a player is a little bit different, but 25 guys on your team that can contribute on everybody else's team, is kind of the way we look at it. That then you'll be able to compete with anybody that you play with. But then, injuries, you have to account for that, and you have all the other stuff that plays into that. But, basically at this level, the offensive and defensive lines have to be pretty close to platooning if you're going to play at the tempo we want to play at and lean on everybody the way that we want to run the football. So you got a lot of your kids are used there. And then if you're going to ask the receiver to run down the field 40 yards 15 times, he's not going to be worth much for you on the other side too. So you got to account for that kind of stuff too. But we think 25 is the number.
Okay, so that kind of gets to my next question about how many kids do you have that play on both sides of the ball?
Or
maybe start?
We probably, as far as starters go,
Yeah.
we're going to have two.
Okay.
Two that'll start on both sides of the ball, and we have kind of accounted for them being a part-time player on one side. So if, say, we have a defensive lineman that starts on both sides, he's definitely going to see limited reps on one side of the football so that we can keep him fresh on the other one. And then we're going to pick our poison as well as situations when we need, who we need in there. You know, obviously those thirds and ones late in the game, in a tight game, you need your best 11 out there, and we'll make sure that we get them out there. You know, obviously when you're trying to keep kids fresh or whatever, you may not necessarily have the best player at each position on the field every snap, but in the key situations, you need to make sure you got them there.
On those type of players, do you keep a play count on them, like the two-way guys? Because I used to do that.
Yeah, we do on the kids that are playing a lot of snaps both ways. It's hard to chart a bunch of them, but, you know, with a staff as large as ours is, you can keep a pretty good beat on them. You know, it's more of a tick mark thing, but we add them up at halftime and make sure that we're doing okay.
Well, it's been a very unusual fall and summer as far as the temperatures have been unbelievable great. And humidity's not been bad. And tonight's weather is not a typical August 23rd type, heat index and heat. So hopefully the kids will be able to, last a little bit longer.
I'm actually a little bit concerned about it because this week has been warmer than the last three, basically. And the humidity level's been up, so it has zapped us a little bit. I do foresee there being some cramping issues tonight, just because I think with the change in the temperature in the last 3 or 4 days, that I do think there'll be some dehydration issues. We've tried to preach it, even though it hadn't been hot, to stay hydrated, but there is a little bit of concern about that tonight.
Well, you mentioned this earlier about Monday's practice. The kids are doing some weights. But how many times do you actually have the kids lift during the season?
Our goal is 3 times per week. We go Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are our 3 days. We don't ever like to have more than 3 days off. That Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The competition Friday could count as a workout for us. So we're trying to stay away from having 3 days off in a row, because then you start to have some diminishing returns as far as starting to lose some muscle growth at that time. So our goal is to leave it at 3. We feel like that's the only way to be strong at the end of the year and maintain the strength levels that you built up all summer long, is to stay at 3. There'll be some weeks where if our schedule's messed up or something like that, we'll have to back it down to 2, but 2 to 3, we'll try to never go less than 2 workouts a week.
Do you do anything before school lifting-wise, or do the kids have like weightlifting classes through the day type thing?
We have 2 kids that have weightlifting class throughout the day.
2 out of how many?
2 out of 120. So most of our work's done after school. As late as we're keeping them within the study level that they have, I don't see there any need in us bringing them in before school and cutting into the sleep that they need and all that sort of thing. 7:20 is early enough start time, and we're getting them out of there at 6:15 on the late days. So I don't see it possible for us to bring them back in the mornings during the season. We will after the season, but not during the season.
I understand. Now, what are your keys, Coach, for tonight's game in order to walk off the field with your first win?
Well, just like anything, we got to value the ball in offense. We can't turn the football over and give them opportunities. With a ball control offense like the wing T is, we got to get off the field on third down on defense to give the ball back to our offense so that we have a chance. And then we can't make any errors in the kicking game. It's definitely 1/3 of the game. We feel like it can be a strength of our team, but we have to make sure that we don't allow for any errors in that area.
Who has to play well for you tonight? I mean, somebody outside your quarterback. I know, he's kind of that. But who else has got to make a play for you tonight?
Oh, I think our outside linebackers will be big for us, with the misdirection of the wing T offense and making sure that they're staying at home, reading their keys in the right place and not giving up big plays, as well as the safeties. They're going to make sure that we're in the right spot. They're kind of the quarterbacks of our defense, going to get us lined up. So I feel like the key to us is minimizing the opportunities for the Stewart's Creek offense and getting the ball back for our offense, and so I think the defense will be a big key for us tonight.
Well, you got to watch film of them. Is there a specific player we kind of need to be looking at tonight's game?
Well, their jersey numbers changed on every film that we've seen, and they had different colors, but I will tell you their halfbacks are very explosive kids. The quarterback is a big sucker. I don't know what grade he's in, but he's appears to be humongous. So I don't know if it's just the kids he's standing next to, but he looks awful big on my TV. And then their defensive line's real active, real quick off the football. So I would say they're skill guys on offense and the D-line on defense.
You talked about 4-2-5 defense. Are they kind of pressuring you up front, blitzing quite a bit from what you've seen?
They're really up the field, rushing the quarterback. So we're going to make sure that we have to change the snap count, do some different things like that to give ourselves an opportunity to slow those guys down. We'll screen them a lot early to run those big suckers, try to wear them out so we can pound the ball on them later in the game. And they're up the field. They will bring pressure when they need to. It's one of those deals. If he can stop you without it, he will. And if not, so I hope we see a lot of pressure.
What time does the game start tonight, Coach?
It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. We've all kind of gone to that in the county now, and it's kind of helps build your routine for the playoffs. No more having to change that stuff at the end. So if you're lucky enough to make the playoffs, your routine should be set.
Right. Well, is there any special events going on tonight as far as the crowd coming in? They got a pep rally going or tailgating? What's going to
there'll always be 1,000 different groups tailgating on campus at Ravenwood. I know the parent group at the Red Zone Club has a big one set up. They'll have chandeliers and tablecloths and all that wonderful stuff out there. And then the students do a great job of tailgating. So it should be a great pregame atmosphere at Ravenwood tonight.
One of the memories I have of Ravenwood, actually I was coaching at Brentwood as an assistant coach for Coach Crawford. I remember student body setting up, tailgating with a catapult, shooting water balloons across the parking lot as we're walking up on the field to get ready for warm-ups.
Yeah, you don't see that every Friday night.
No, I'm telling you, they were very, very involved, and I think the student body at Ravenwood is looking forward to getting behind a winning football program back at Ravenwood. The keys to the game tonight, what are the keys to the game for him?
Don't turn it over and get them off the field. I think those are the two biggest keys to the game. Obviously, we got to run the football. I think if we can rush for 200 yards, we'll be right there in it. And I think that's going to tell the tale, rushing the football and then getting them off the field.
Well, Coach, if you had one play to call, what play would that be?
I would say
you're the offensive coordinator. You got one play you can call.
I don't know where I'm at, Jack. I don't know where I'm doing.
I'm going to put you at the 10-yard line going in to score. It's one play left in the game, and you got to score. What's that one play would you call?
All right, it would be 2 left, weak, 90 comeback.
2 left, weak, 90 comeback. Well, Coach, best of luck tonight. We'll look for that play tonight and best of luck the rest of the season. Stay healthy.
I appreciate it, Jack. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us for our Coaches Preview Show. Come out to the game tonight at Ravenwood High School, 7 o'clock against Stewart Creek. I'm Jack Daniels, your host.
My name is Ethan, and this is my book, Stories The Clone Wars Adventure. I chose this book because it has lots of action and funny parts in it. And one day my mom just got this for me, and I liked it. I think lots of people would like this because it has lots of fighting and action and a lot of cool stuff in it.
If we want to keep the blue in the sky, the green in the trees, we better care for the air we breathe. That it would truly be a breath of fresh air when we all can see forever through the air we breathe. So let's really try to be more aware of what we can do to clean up the air we all share. So let's you and me roll up our sleeves. Let's do all we can and care for the air